Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
23 rounds fired into a house on Detroit's east side. One of them hits an 11-year-old girl in the head.
When these folks decided to make an adult problem a child's problem, and that's just completely unacceptable.
Now we're learning how the shooting of a child might be connected to another major crime in the city. Police say the car the gunman used had recently been stolen from a car dealership.
And now that 11-year-old who was just sleeping on a couch is in critical condition. It happened around 4 this morning at a home on Pennsylvania Street, not far from I-94 in Gratiot. Victor Williams just got the update from the chief here in the past hour. Victor, what more can you tell us here?
Well, the good news, at least right now, Kimberly and Devin, is that multiple arrests have been made with this situation. The chief is understandably fed up with this being yet another child that's been shot in the city due to senseless violence, but they have already started connecting the dots.
It's devastating, not to just a person's family, but to the community.
A neighborhood is still coming to grips with the thought of an innocent 11-year-old being shot while sleeping on the couch on Detroit's east side. Chief James White has a new development.
We have 4 suspects in custody. One suspect is 18, one's 19, one is 20, and I believe the 23.
We're told that about 15 to 20 people were inside the house when this happened. The only one that was injured was little Lamara Glenn.
We've recovered one weapon and one facsimile firearm. The weapon that we have recovered, we believe, is in fact a weapon that was used tragically that struck little Miss Lamar Glenn.
Police say it was multiple shooters who carried out the attack on the home, the motive unknown at this time. But police have tied this incident with several other crimes.
Fortunately, the vehicle used in this was a stolen car taken off one of our dealerships, and now we're here today.
There's even one connection made to someone being killed.
2 of the vehicles that were recovered at those scenes are tied to the auto theft ring. One of the suspects in the auto theft ring that we're looking at is tied to a homicide, and we believe, we're confident in this non-fatal shooting.
And police are still looking for other suspects, but once again, this is still a very open investigation. Victor Williams.
Yeah, okay, Victor, thank you. June 6th is going to be a very big day for the city of Detroit.
For the first time in 30 years, the Michigan Central Station in Corktown will be back open for business. Business editor Rob Maloney live in Corktown tonight. News that is not just big for Corktown, Rod.
No, it's big for the city. And think back, Devin, about, 7 years ago, Bill Ford drives by here in Michigan Avenue and sees he can look through to Canada through the building here. It was a disaster, this neighborhood. It was impoverished. It was in trouble. No windows in the building. It was an eyesore, no doubt about it. But he also needed a place to bring his high-tech workers. And he thought, you know what? We can do this. And now here is his vision, almost fully realized. And it has changed, even during construction, completely changed the neighborhood.
Like, I've seen it when it was just fields. There was no houses.
Irene Huddleston is a lifelong Southwest Detroiter. She manages the Honeybee grocery store in the shadow of the station. And she says the 5-year effort to transform the Central train station is making a huge impact on the area.
I think it's great. I think it's going to be even better down here for the neighborhood, especially like downtown.
Same goes for Sean Nethercott, who's called the area home for 35 years and remembers the dark days when the Cadillac plant left.
People are very, very excited for the train station to come back.
Ford's billion-dollar investment is almost here and has brought a lot of the things promised, like people. Lots of them.
Corktown was a neighborhood of 1,200 people, for which 4,000 new people have moved in. So it's really changed the sense of community in that neighborhood. There's so many new buildings, there's so many new people. It hasn't really found its sense of neighborhood yet.
There are new apartments and condos going in and going up. The Godfrey Hotel, many new small businesses along Michigan Avenue. The Greenway is attracting a lot of foot traffic. It's change, and change on this scale can be very exciting, as well as concerning, like skyrocketing property values.
People are a bit worried about whether their children are going to be able to live here because of the fact that, the prices have gotten so high.
And of course, there is that whole question of gentrification. That's what they call it when they have this kind of a problem. And there are other big city problems that come with this kind of prosperity, like the loss of parking and things like that. But for the most part, the people here say, hey, this has been a real big help for this neighborhood, and they're glad to see it. Back to you.
And I know, of course, you talk to a lot of business leaders as well, Rod. What are you hearing there?
Well, what they're saying is much the same, is that they are thinking that this is really good, but that change has to be dealt with. And we're going to be talking to them coming up on Local 4 News at 6.
Good deal. All right, Rod, we'll see you then.
A driver was killed today in a crash on 7 Mile after they hit a utility pole, went airborne, and struck a building. The building suffered significant damage. Witnesses say the driver was speeding when the crash happened and was ejected from the car. The Detroit Police Department is investigating. The owner of the building hit says he was in the process of turning the structure into a community center, but this crash has now upended those plans.
All right, now to the newest information we've been learning in the shooting last night outside Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Troy.
Police tell us a 4-year-old child was inside the car targeted by the shooter. An adult woman was shot multiple times in the leg and hip. She's recovering at the hospital. Luckily, that child, that 4-year-old, was not injured.
Now, here's the SUV police have been seeking. Police were able to track this Dodge Durango into Hazel Park, but later lost it as it then crossed into Detroit. If you saw anything that might help police, Troy police would like a call.
Well, the law has only been on the books for 7 days, but today a Flint man was formally charged under Michigan's new safe gun storage law.
Genesee County prosecutor announced the charges late this afternoon. Pamela Osborne following that story for us with more on what we know about this very new kind of case. Pamela.
We're talking about a 28-month-old little girl who's in critical condition right now, investigators say, because her father left 2 loaded guns within her reach.
I introduced this legislation. It was my hope that it would never be used.
On Valentine's Day, one day after Michigan's safe storage law went into effect, a 2-year-old girl suffered significant injuries after she accidentally shot herself with an unsecured gun.
There were no gun locks or safes inside of this front bedroom.
Genesee County prosecutor David Layton has charged the girl's father, Michael Tolbert, with violating the safe storage law, which requires guns to be locked or unloaded when and where children are present.
The bullet entered the right eye of the little girl and exited through the rear of her skull. Doctors have said that she will lose her right eye at best, and she remains in critical condition this afternoon.
Investigators say the shooting happened in a front bedroom where, on a bed next to a child folding chair, were 2 guns.
There were 2 firearms located on the bed in this front bedroom. One firearm was a revolver, the other was a semi-automatic pistol. Upon examining the firearms, both were unsecured and loaded with live ammunition.
Tolbert is the first person to face charges under the new law. Investigators are hopeful it will be the last time they have to use it. Here in the city of Detroit, you can get free gun locks at any precinct. Many other departments have them available as well. Devin?
Well, Pam, explain how this new law will help prosecutors hold people who don't store guns safely accountable.
Sure. So one of the many charges Tolbert is facing is child abuse, which prior to the safe storage law, prosecutors would have had a difficult task of proving that he knowingly or intentionally caused harm. But now all prosecutors really have to do here is prove that he failed to store his weapons safely in the presence of a child, which, as we know, resulted in a very significant injury.
Just took a week from this new law taking place. All right, Pam.
A key hearing is set for tomorrow morning ahead of the trial of James Crumbley, the father of the Oxford school shooter.
The motion hearing is set to discuss a number of issues, including a request by Crumbley and his attorney to have the case moved out of Oakland County. In that motion, Crumbley's attorney claims he can't get a fair trial after his wife, of course, was convicted of involuntary manslaughter a few weeks ago. The hearing set to get underway on this change of venue request at 11 a.m.
And we're going to be streaming tomorrow's hearing live on Local 4 Plus. Christy McDonald will anchor our coverage, so be sure to log on right at 11 a.m. tomorrow.
All right, now to the weather, and again, what a day. Take a look at our Mount Clemens sky cam.
Yeah, sun was shining. We had temperatures in the mid-40s, still in the mid-40s here. The good news is the mercury isn't going to stop there come tomorrow if you are somebody who likes the warmer temperatures. So let's get over to Kim Adams and your forecast. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Kim. Well, if you like the warm weather, you'll be happy. If you like colder weather, you'll be happy because we have both in the extended forecast. But for today, it is just beautiful. Crystal blue skies, really pretty. Mid to even upper 40s. And in fact, Adrian just popped up to 51 degrees. Our average high is now 37. So keep that in mind as you take a look at these temperatures. They are well above normal for this time of year. It's 42 in Mount Clemens, 48 downtown, 42 in Monroe, 47 in Ann Arbor, and upper 40s in Howell. Bus stop forecast tomorrow morning. Well, this morning we had a little bit of fog. Tomorrow we're going to have some clouds in the morning, but it'll be slightly warmer than it was today. We had temps that were only in the low to mid 20s this morning. We'll be at about 32 degrees tomorrow morning, and we warm up all the way to 52, but more in the way of clouds tomorrow afternoon. Can't rule out an isolated shower. Most areas will stay dry. The heaviest rain will come on Thursday, but take a quick peek at this temperature trend. Notice something about that? That's not a typo. That's 65 degrees next week. We'll talk about what's going on coming up.
All right, Kim.